Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from a throwaway account, and it says, would I be the arsehole here if I, female 28, told my husband, male 28, his sleep boundaries went out the window when he had our son? Husband, we will call Brad, and I have been together for 2.5 years. Had our son in January. Things have been pretty great, but this had me feeling kind of annoyed. Brad is diagnosed with autism and ADHD, which can make communication between us challenging at times, but we do our best. We live in Europe, not US. Since Brad has ADHD, he only works at 50%. The other half is covered by a health insurance here on a temporary basis, and every few months he has to keep applying for more. It is stressful as we wait for him to hopefully get on a permanent coverage. Since this is so up in the air, instead of me taking a full year of mat leave, he took a majority of the days in case his temp health insurance is denied for some reason. Then he can keep his work schedule at 50% and still get paid on the days he has off, which means I went back to work part-time. I work from home as a private teacher. I choose my hours since my students usually live in different countries. I chose some in the afternoon when Brad is home with our son, and at nights when my students would be awake and Brad is also home. I only have one student in the evening, 11 to 11:30 at night, twice a week. OP later confirmed that they teach ESL to students in Asia, and that's why the timing is that way. OP continues, this is to help with some income. And we discussed this before I even went back to work. He had asked no students past midnight, so if baby is having issues sleeping, he can take care of him and hopefully get him to sleep. Well, Brad got back on a schedule where he wants to go to bed at 11 every night. We try to, but with a baby sometimes it just does not happen. Baby sometimes will stay asleep when I put him to bed. I nurse him to sleep, and sometimes he wakes up screaming. Well, last night I told Brad I had my student at 11 and would try to have baby sleeping by then. He asked me, what is your plan if baby wakes up? My bedtime is 11, so hopefully you have thought of something. I said, well, hopefully he stays asleep. If not, you'll just have to take care of him, or put him on his playmat and entertain him. He resolutely said, bedtime is 11 and I will go to bed. Come 11, baby is in bed and Brad is just getting out the shower. I guess he woke up moments after I started with my student, as when I came out of the office, he was walking around with baby. I took him, nursed him back to sleep, and went to bed also shortly after 11:30. This morning, he was a bit annoyed with me. When I tried to hug him goodbye as he was leaving to work, he did not hug me back. We always do this before he leaves, so I said, are you upset with me still? He replied, yes, you crossed my boundary. My bedtime is 11. We discussed this. I go to bed, and anything past that is your problem to solve if baby wakes up. He left for work, and I was just thinking, what? I feel I need to have some discussion with Brad about this, but would I be the arsehole here if I told him he has no more boundaries with his sleep and he's being ridiculous? Absolute cheeky bastard. When do you get to start making sleep boundaries when you have a baby? Seriously though, Brad seems to think that parenthood comes with some kind of on and off switch at 11 PM apparently. The absolute audacity to say that's your problem afterwards. Someone said to OP everyone sucks here for not sorting this out before there was a baby. OP says we did. No students past midnight and only when he is home. It was only recently he decided he wanted to go to bed at 11, and he knew my potential work schedule weeks before I even went back to work. Previously, bedtime for us was between 11:30 and midnight. He also does get his 8+ hours of sleep almost every night. Another commenter says, not the arsehole. Your husband is being ridiculous. He's a father. He should act like it. Babies wake up in the night. It's not fair to expect you to take care of it all by yourself, while he peacefully sleeps every night. He's a parent. He needs to parent his child. Opie says, what my mother said. If it means he has to walk around with a baby to calm him, he just has to. My schedule is not a surprise either. It was something we discussed weeks before I even went back. Another commenter says not to mention the fact that you're having to return to work early after pregnancy, because of the financial issues caused by him only working part-time. Opie says, well, the thing is, in our country in Europe, he is technically employed full-time, but due to his disabilities, he only works 50% and the other 50% is covered by health insurance here. Yes, his work knows. All of it is legal. I'm not from Europe originally, so I might be explaining this badly, but if he loses the income from the health insurance, he only gets paid 50% from work. Opie later confirmed that they were from Sweden. Opie said to another commenter, and Opie was downvoted for this, saying, the thing is, he is a great dad. Just this incident is ruffling my feathers a bit because he normally is not like this, and he almost always gets his 8+ hours of uninterrupted sleep. If baby was waking him up, I could see it, but that is not the case. Commenter replies saying, is he a great dad if he uses emotional blackmail against the mother of his child? Is he a great dad if he refuses to care for the child he helped create? I don't think so. I think maybe getting yourself a counselor solo for perspectives from a professional may be useful too. Opie says, I think you're right on me needing to see a professional on dealing with some of this. Of course, he did not let baby cry. He did take him, but he was annoyed with me that he even had to be awake to walk around with baby. I love my son and I need to know if I cannot be there. Someone who loves him is there with him. My family is far away, so I only have my husband. Commenter says to OP, not the arsehole. If you decide to have a child, you have to take all the punches that are involved. And a perfect sleep schedule is something you lose. And why is this always men? I mean, I know why, but yet, why? He's a father, baby, and the baby's needs come first. Opie says, after I had baby, we're in the hospital for 5 days. Baby soiled the few clothes he had and Brad left to go home for the night. Hospital room not large enough for him to stay. And as he was getting home to bed, I called, told him baby had nothing clean anymore, and he drove at 3 a.m. to bring him clean clothes. So this is an issue, but the one in the hospital was not? Commenter says, did he want the baby too? Did he understand what having a child means to his boundaries and lifestyle? Opie says, yep, before we had baby, my parents had a long talk about it with him. He said he did, and he would make the logical decision. We talked about it, how sleep routine, free time, work, etc. goes out the window. We try our best, and even then, how babies are day-to-day changes. I never know how baby will be any given day, so you just do what you can. I thought he understood, but then he reacted like this, and I was just like, what? Commenter says, not the arsehole. Being autistic and having ADHD are not licensed to be a dick. He's a father now, and the baby's needs come first. Moreover, the reason that you can't help is because you already have bent over backwards and made every single accommodation possible for him. He should be grateful. Instead, he's weaponizing therapy language to make you seem like the bad guy. You are not. Opie says, comment limit prevented a lot of extra, but I keep the house clean, look after our cat, have baby when he works from home. I keep the baby happy and content as I can so he can work. Let him have his weekly game sessions with his best friend. We hang out with our friends. I often have baby so they can play games. I'm just happy to socialize, not a huge board game person. Make sure we have our alone time when baby is happy playing in his area. Feed him and keep him quiet at night so Brad can sleep and so on. Someone says, what does he do? Opie says he cooks, does all of that, lunch, dinner. He will help me with the cleaning, the cat at times, takes baby so I can nap if tired, since baby is only breastfed, and with him all night. Thankfully he sleeps most of the night now, but I'm still up at like 6:30 to 7 a.m. with him. Commenter says to OP, husband should not have had a child. What will he do if you were hit by a bus? OP was again downvoted for this one and says, well, probably then my parents have to fly over from where they live and likely take custody of our son. Oh, what? Husband's parents are too old and in poor health. Mine are not. OP further explains, if I died or was hospitalized, I know he would try his best with baby, but in the long term, it would be a disaster. He probably would move near his sisters and parents with baby, or my parents would step up. A lot. So at some point later, OP comes in with an update and says, so he came home, and we had a long talk about how his words can be easily misunderstood, especially if he does not clarify to me, or I ask him to. Our baby equals no boundary with sleep. We do our best, all we can do. We need to spend more time as a family, together. I explain how to a neurotypical person. His words and actions hurt, even if that is not his intent. That baby is the priority always, even over our mental health. We only have each other, and even though I can sympathize with the mental health, you just have to push past it. I'm doing all I can, and if you need help, ask for it. He's willing to get extra support at the neuropsych, where we live, beyond what he has. He's medicated and getting all the help he can, and will seek ways to cope. I made it clear that no way was his reaction okay, and it cannot happen again for baby's sake. He seemed to understand. As some of you suggested, him getting extra support for his ADHD. He will. I will ask also for some counseling how to communicate better myself to him. Around the house, he will spend less time alone, more with us. Free time happens after or when baby sleeps, not before. Games can be played in the living room where we are together. Also, my mother offered to be on call if she has the time, so if husband is alone with baby, she can video chat with baby, which he likes. I talk with her on video almost every day, and sometimes it can snap baby into a better mood when he sees his Grammy. And yes, we live in Sweden, so we get 480 days between us and we can share/trade, so I can get some days back if it comes to it. I was never forced to give my days. It was my choice due to what was happening at the time. He only works 50% because that is what he feels he can do without burning himself out. He has other health issues, diabetic, EDS, that make him more exhausted. His job pays pretty well, but on just half his wage is not enough. If he gets permanent health insurance, it could take a few years, we hope. I am with him because when we met, he was under less pressure. He's fully capable, had a job, cleaned his apartment, has a social life. I think the stress of having the health insurance and our son sometimes just being a baby got to him. Prior to this, he has been a good husband, father, considerate. I'm not stupid. I was in an abusive relationship prior. My parents love him, just not his behavior at times like now. He messed up with his words. He has acknowledged that. Some of you thought it might be a deeper issue, but no. I asked and he just said he was upset because to him, I was working at a time he did not agree to. But I had to remind him, wanting to go to bed at 11 was recent, as in back in May. When I started to go back to work, he just is stressed from work, baby and just day-to-day things. He apologized for how he rejected my hug by standing there. He was annoyed why he did not reciprocate, and how he worded things last night and this morning. I promised no students past 11:30. He said of course he would never let our son just cry if he was going to bed. Had a student and baby was awake. Will it stick? I don't know. We just take one day at a time. Next time is couples counseling as opposed to individual and involving my parents whom he respects. Commoner said to OP, good luck OP. This is a nice update to read and it sounds like you have the resources and communication skills to work through this stressful time. Keep it up and things will get easier. OP says I hope so. My parents help as best as they can 6,000 kilometers away. We have resources here too, for all of us. Commoner says, thank you for giving your husband grace. I also have ADHD and the sleepless nights were awful for me. I was UNDX at the time and really struggled with lack of sleep. I still do. And my husband did the bulk of the night shifts and I will be eternally grateful for that. I think being bluntly honest with him is good. If he's exhausted, and which new parent isn't, and burned out, then it's going to be hard of him to regulate himself. I'm not excusing his actions at all, but I just wanted to show my appreciation for you. You are handling his disabilities. I wish you all the best. Opie says he has his own office space. Baby's routine usually means he falls asleep at 8. After 8, free time. Commoner says do not frame it like this. Remember the whole post started because of rigid time mindset. Free time after 8 means he gets to do what he wants, including sleep. The schedule is baby time until 8. On-call time from 8 to 11:30 p.m. On-call means he can do other things but must stop those things if baby wakes up. Then 11:30, sleep time. Opie says yeah, that sounds pretty good way to look at it. Thanks. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Am I the Arsehole Dancing Half Naked, which pretty much gives away the story in itself, and says, Am I the arsehole for dancing half naked in my living room, leading to my boyfriend and his family seeing me? I, 21 female, was told by my boyfriend, Nate, 26 male, that I'd get the house to myself for the weekend. He said he had to go visit his parents to take care of a property-related issue. I was pretty excited to have the house to myself because I've been living with Nate since I was 19, and I missed living alone. Though Nate is the love of my life and in no way a trouble to live with. I had this tradition of spending a lot of my weekends baking while in my lingerie. I don't know, it makes me feel pretty. Yes, I know it's stupid, but it makes me stupid happy, with music and dancing. Super embarrassing to admit, but I also do silly things like pretending I'm a Victoria's model or a singer and I sing along, loudly. I mention this because this means the house is usually a mess. My dresses are all over and the music is super loud, which is obviously not okay. I hadn't done that in a long time because Nate hates loud music and he's not a fan of my cupcakes, so I decided to do it this weekend. So it's Sunday and I put on What a Feeling by One Direction, and it's super loud and I'm only wearing lingerie. Victoria's kind, so lacy as fuck, which I regret looking back. My boyfriend used his key to open the door and I didn't hear him come in because, like I said, it's loud in the house and I'm also in the kitchen/living room area. Apparently he wanted to surprise me. Nate brought in his mum, dad and his sister's 2 kids. Only like 10 male, I think. They come in and there I am, frozen in a dance pose like an idiot. I quickly ran to our room yelling sorry, wasn't expecting anyone, and was putting on clothes when Nate came in. He was so angry. He said I was acting like a child and that I embarrassed him. His parents wanted Nate to drop them back ASAP, refusing to stay, and his mum called me a lot of names and said the kids had seen everything, and that made me feel guilty as fuck. Here's why I'm losing sleep over this. On one hand, I didn't know they would come. I locked the door too, so I feel like I didn't do anything wrong. I planned on clearing up my mess before Nate came home too. Also, Nate and his mum insulted me a lot. But when you look at it from their perspective, I was behaving like an immature person. The house was a mess. I looked a mess. There were baking supplies scattered. Nate just wanted to surprise me and do something nice. Nate is still not completely talking to me. I don't know how to face his family, and I also know his sister told him to make me behave or something. So I feel like I should apologize before things get worse, but I can't decide for sure if I'm in the wrong here, so I need your help. Thank you for reading. This goes way beyond just an embarrassing moment for me, and that family was giving me red flags all over. You were in your own home, doing something that's completely harmless, and in fact makes you happy. For me, if a partner wanted to dance around in their undies and make cakes, hell yeah, go for it, Nate gave you the impression you'd be having the house to yourself. The fact that he showed up unannounced with his entire family is his mistake, not yours. But everything after this is way worse than the actual incident itself. I don't think he was wrong in the incident anyway, but his mum calling you names, his sister telling him to make you behave, him getting angry at you, also calling you names and not defending you to his family. I was seriously side-eyeing this guy as soon as you said he hates loud music and isn't a fan of your cupcakes. The things, again, that make you happy. And if you're in a place where you can't express your happiness by making fucking cupcakes or dancing around in your pants, there's bigger issues going on here. And you deserve so much better. Hope he added an ETA after this post saying, Nate's family is also really conservative and he was brought up like that as well. Someone mentioned I should have added this in. Also, I'm from the US since a lot of people asked. This is so embarrassing, but I can't take it anymore. I have to know if I'm in the wrong here. I need to apologize if so. Tonka says, not the arsehole. You should never be embarrassed for dancing like an idiot to a song you like. Who cares that you're in underwear? No one was home at the time. Oh, and giving you the silent treatment is a huge red flag. It's emotional abuse. Opie replied saying, thank you, I feel a bit relieved. Oh, to be fair, it's not the silent treatment. He's talking to me, but I can tell he's still angry. Tomboy Barbie replies saying, Nate is just a bunch of red flags wearing a human skin suit, okay? Throughout your post, you talk about how pretty this makes you feel, how stupid happy you are while doing it, all while apparently feeling ashamed of how wrong and immature it is. It's made you feel as though something that makes you happy and is totally harmless is something to be ashamed of. A partner that insults you and makes you feel ashamed of yourself is not a partner. Calling Water replies to that saying yes, especially since the reason OP did this while he was out because she wouldn't be able to do it while he was there. So she's having to sideline this part of her in the first place, and then he's disapproving that she was doing it at all. Meanwhile, he's 26, she's 21, and she moved in when she was 19, and he would have been 24. That's not a major age gap later, but it's a pretty big experience gap at the start, especially with Nate waving so many red flags of disapproval and control. Well, Teller says, not the arsehole. Nate is a total arsehole here. He tells you that you will have the apartment to yourself and then decides to surprise you with what exactly? A visit from his family. Wow, what a great surprise. He has no right to be upset at you. You didn't know anyone was going to be home. He also has no right to insult you. Never in a relationship should your significant other insult you. Yeah, that was a good point as well. I mean, what kind of surprise was that meant to be? It sounds like the parents are pretty awful from what I can see here. So what kind of surprise was this meant to be for OP? Surprise! Here's my shitty parents. Now you must behave exactly as they want you to in your own home. One more comment from Fox Uni says, wait, your boyfriend is angry at you because he walked in on you. Am I tracking this correctly? No, not the arsehole. You're allowed to do what you want in your house. Why would he even bring people by without giving a heads up anyways? It's just so weird. And please don't get me started on Mum. She's off her rocker. You don't get to go insult someone in their home. Don't want a show? Send a text before just walking in. There's so much audacity here, I just don't even know. What I do know is you owe nobody an apology. You did nothing wrong. They owe you many. Their behavior was completely and utterly unacceptable, and you need to sit down and really evaluate and see what is happening here. This is in no way is this normal, acceptable, or even reasonable response to their error. The OP comes in with her update and says, I saw a lot of messages and comments wanting an update, so here it is. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your message. There were so many of them, so I thought I'd make a post instead. I got a little overwhelmed. After reading what everyone wrote, I quickly realized that what Nate did was so wrong. A lot of great mums in the comments also helped me understand the fact that even conservative mums, like Nate's, wouldn't react so rudely. It hit me like a wave when I realized what my life had come to. I didn't say anything to Nate about the post, but he must have figured out that I was upset at him. I was doubting our relationship and pulling away from him. He started talking to me again, and for a day I didn't really say anything, but I knew I had some decisions to make. I genuinely didn't believe I would get so many responses telling me I was not the arsehole, so this was eye-opening for me. So a few days later, after I made the post, I told Nate that we needed to talk. I said that I would be staying with my friend until I felt comfortable around him. He didn't know what I was referring to, which just made me angry because how can he forget a fight that big? And I told him I was upset with how he treated me after the whole "your family walking in on me" incident. I also mentioned how I shouldn't have to wait for him to be away to dance, bake, or listen to One Direction just because he doesn't like it. He tried convincing me to stay, but I left. I think he knew I wouldn't let this go, like the other things, thanks to you guys. Yesterday I asked him to meet me at a cafe so we could have a conversation about everything that happened. Nate cried, like for the first time ever since I have known him. He apologized, told me he messed up, and that he would change because he realized his mistakes now. I told him I wanted to move out and maybe after a while, if he does actually change, I'd give us another chance. I just needed some space to think about things, and so I told him we should take a break from each other for a while. Nate told me he would talk to his mum as well, and that he should have defended me, to which I said yes, you should have. I actually borrowed direct sentences to explain why he was in the wrong from some comments you guys left because it was so helpful. It went better than how I imagined it would go. Also, thank you. Thank you doesn't even begin to cover what I really want to say to everyone who helped me, and also to the mods who removed a lot of creepy comments. Thanks for sharing your stories about dancing in your underwear as well. It made me feel better to know I wasn't some freak for enjoying those things. I'm going to use those baking tips you guys gave me to make cupcakes right now, actually because I can. I feel so relieved. ETA, I made the cupcakes using some tips you guys gave me, and oh my god, it was so much better. Not as dry as they were before. Thank you. And in the end, I was just so relieved, like a lot of the comments as well, relieved and happy for OP. And, you know, I feel like I hope she never went back to that guy in the end because his behavior isn't going to change over a couple of days. It's not going to, his thought process isn't going to change over the next couple of days, nor is his parents' thoughts. The fact that she went in there, insulted her immediately like that, fuck that. OP deserves to do whatever she wants that makes her happy. It all sounded pretty wholesome to me. I myself do, I'm not saying OP's is stupid here because I don't think it is, but I myself do stupid and weird shit all the time. Like I've told you guys before, like in the middle of recording and I want a coffee or something, As I'm walking across the living room, I do a little catwalk shuffling. We get do the hips, and a spin. And you know why I do it? Because I can. I really sass it up. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, support, and time, for putting up with my weird ass. Much love to you, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and much love.
Yeah, man, I remember being so naive when life was good, weather and palm trees. Back in the day, you were everything I need. But then along came a time when you crushed my dreams. Oh yeah, you played me like a fool when you made me believe that the line between love wasn't thick enough to